They still want the residents here to pay for them poisoning us, and not only us, but our babies. Those are the ones that are being affected, and excuse my language, but it pisses me off. Like, my child could have issues growing up that, I don't know about, because research has to still be done, the long-term effect of lead. Had they had let me know, I would have got out of here a lot sooner than I did. I spent 11 years here, not including the time that my mother lived here and I was growing up playing out here, So I feel awful that I allow my children to be in this environment, but then again, I didn't know, so.
When you see lead levels at 91,000 parts per million, we don't see that anywhere in the country when we find lead contamination. This is astronomical.
So the before and after picture, before when they ripped it up, it was
the dirt and everything was underneath. And then they just set the tub back on top of it. They didn't clean anything. They didn't brush anything out. They just automatically set the tub back on top. And then I'm wondering about my children, what I fed them for almost 13 years. I'm wondering what I have done to them. So I feel guilty as a parent because I feel that I've done something wrong to my children. I've done them an injustice for having to be in this area to begin with. I went to college. I got a degree. I was on my way to being able to be a nurse, what I wanted to do. But I got sick in between trying to go to school. You have a whole line of housing whose bathtubs are sitting in that same contaminated dirt that's outside. There's no floor under my bathtub. It's pure dirt. And if the outside is contaminated, you can't tell me that my inside. Our ventilation systems have never been clean. So every time I turn on my air condition or my heating, everything is blowing through my house. I can't bring my kids home to this.
It's just unreasonable to have policymakers kind of kick the can down the road and try to fix the blame rather than fix the problem. And that's why we're asking Mike Pence, the governor of the state of Indiana, he needs to come here.
I've been in touch with the governor's office, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a meeting set up between myself and the governor concerning the issue here, because it needs to be brought to his attention what's going on here. I'm not certain it's been brought to his attention as of yet. When they had the water crisis in Flint, Michigan, they thought it was a civil matter, a political matter, and local people were involved. But after they started their investigation, they discovered a lot of people dropped the ball. As a result of that, we've just heard recently there have been 9 indictments by the U.S. attorney there. Same thing very well could occur here.
Are you getting the go-around from the governor's office? Are they responding to you? Are they,
I spoke with his office yesterday, and they're going to be hopefully getting back to me in terms of a date and time when the governor, because right now, the governor is the vice presidential nominee for Donald Trump. And so he's a different state right now, but he's going to be coming back here. I don't know when, but as soon as possible, they're going to try to set up a meeting with me for him.
So what's behind us is the EPA's, they come on site and they have facilities for placing mulch on the yards and stuff. That's basically what they're doing. And they're also going into the housing and doing cleanup. They also have a trailer there for residents to go and get information on what's going on.
So there were not 4 trailers here a few weeks ago, and suddenly there are 4 trailers here. What precipitated that?
Well, what precipitated that really was the mayor escalating the issue and calling for a forced evacuation of the area and announcing that they're going to demolish 346 units.
So the local officials took action first, and then the federal officials came?
Well, I can't say that's the case.
We got here probably early July after the latest sampling results indicated some high levels of lead. We had concerns from the mayor of East Chicago, was proposing a complete evacuation of the residents in the housing complex. So we started coming out, met with the mayor, agreed to do some interim risk reduction, which was putting down the mulch over the bare spots on the complex and in the playground.
I guess the mulch is supposed to lay on top of the lead and the contaminated soil, but as you can see, it rains and the mulch just goes any and everywhere. And then you got these signs, you're supposed to stop kids from playing, but they see the sign and they're like, oh, what's that? You know, these are little children and they're curious, so they're gonna do the opposite of what the sign is saying.
Lead does cause some central nervous issues. That's why it's always sensitive populations or young children. That's why when they're exposed to lead early, it can have the biggest impact. Not so much as for adults. But we let a lot of those decisions are based on our health agencies that work with us through the CDC, who's been out here for the last 2 weeks. They've been reviewing all the blood lead data and talking with residents.
I took him to get, you know, his normal physical, and his lead levels came back extremely high. He was always outside playing. You know, he's a typical child, and I didn't see no issue with him outside playing in the dirt like kids do. Had they made us aware of this before we moved here, maybe we would have moved somewhere else. You know, give us the choice, and that's what they took from us.
Well, you just said the people who moved into your old house, you don't think were told.
No, I'm pretty sure they weren't told. You know, I moved out. I turned in my key June 7th. Within a week or two, they moved in.
I was told they were still moving people in and out as of today as we speak.
Today? Moving in?
I've been to several meetings for where the criminal. This is a criminal.